Whispers.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Walter, LaBelle, Scotty.
So, Tony, you're pretty good at telling the twins apart. What's your secret?
I am pretty good at it. Well, let me see. What can I say without?
Just say it.
How can I say this?
You're never politically correct. Why start?
It's interesting that I can't tell the difference. They can't fool me. You know.
That's good.
Scotty kind of has a swag about him that I can see all the time. And Walter's real mellow. You know, he's kind of off to the side a little bit, you know, and I can kind of tell that way. That's how I tell. You know?
All right.
But they
How are you
they
guys
look just
doing?
alike, you know.
Great, doing great.
LaBelle plays with the mic all the time, you know.
What was that? Last part there.
But I'm so glad you guys are here. I mean, this is a treat. Anytime you guys are here. I mean, my father was very, very close to these guys, and I'm close to them as well. And we are fortunate to have the Whispers.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, Tony, you're saying, your father loved them very much. They performed on Soul Train. They've definitely been on the Soul Train cruise a few times. We're really happy that you're back. Let's talk about performing on Soul Train back in the day. And I'm sure you've got so many stories that you can share. Do you have any
on the
funny
Soul
stories?
Train TV show?
On the TV show.
Yeah. This morning we were talking about how different it was back in the day versus right now. Back in the day, groups, the Manhattans, the Shy-Lights, we all were doing our thing, and Don knew all of us. He was making it possible for us to get this TV exposure. But the competition then, I mean, every group came to kill. That's the best way I know how to put it. They knew that when they were on that television show that another group that they might be performing with next week saw it, and you got their best. It was a healthy competition, but we went for as we call it, we went for the throat. We wanted to kill every night, with that show portion of it. And but it was healthy though. It wasn't. Today is kind of different, as far as I'm concerned, But it was a healthy competition, and it helped to make. I think it helped to create everybody's longevity. The fact that everybody's still here, almost 50 years later.
Wow, and thank God for that. Yeah, you've been around for a long
time. Well, there's some little known facts, and I'm sure Walter was nice enough not to mention it, but Scotty has an even better story on what happened when he came to Soul Train.
I want to hear this.
Based on, I know his wife.
Oh, okay. Well, it depends on which Soul Train we're talking about, because the Soul Train didn't start in Los Angeles. It started in Chicago. Chi-Town.
Chicago folks, man, boy.
So the first time we did Soul Train was in Chicago. It was one of the hottest rooms I've ever been in my life. The little small studio. And Don, even back then, was planning to make things bigger for us and all the black acts. But when he got to L.A. and Soul Train blew up the way you guys remember it, there was a young lady that was dancing on Soul Train, and the minute I laid eyes on her, I said, I'm going to marry her one day. And everybody said, oh, man, you crazy. I said, no, that's going to be my wife. So I went 2 or 3 times. The first 2 times, I didn't actually get to meet her, but Chuck Johnson, you know it well, finally introduced me, and she became my wife. We have 2 beautiful daughters. And that's what Soul Train did for me, gave me the best part of my life.
Wow.
That is beautiful. Wow.
Well, he got really lucky because I remember my father used to make sure that the artist did not take the girls.
Don't deal with the
I mean,
he was a stickler for that, right?
Exactly. You come in and perform on the show, and you want to take the prettiest dancers out of the show. So he was like, these guys, we can't have that, So Scotty was fortunate enough
I was very lucky
to steal one. He stole one.
Yes.
Got somebody to introduce him to her on the slide.
Chuck set me up really nice.
Chuck Johnson, that's right. I remember.
That's awesome. That's a good
You know, there's
story.
another thing that you guys have mentioned to me in the past, the fact that you're able to touch the fans and they can touch you. And, I think Lavelle, as well as Walter and Scotty, said some things that were real nice about when it comes to the audience, the fans. You can see them, you can touch them, they can feel them. It's
Yeah,
Well, if you
especially,
mention- oh, go ahead.
especially here, on the Soul Train cruise. I mean, this is just, for the Whispers, this is just incredible because we as you probably know, that we're just, humility is one of the bases. And I think I was talking to you today, we were talking, and I said if I had to do this all over again, I would not want to be with any other group on this planet other than the Whispers. Wow. Because they taught me so much in terms of just being humble, and how important your audience is to you. And now, whenever I'm out on the ship, we all feel the same way. Come take a picture, please. Come, hang out with us. We come down, we eat with you guys and stuff like that. Not like that's, like we're saying, oh, well, we get to eat with you guys. I mean, it's not that kind of thing. We just want to be around our fans. And it gives us great feedback to hear what they have to say. I like this song. Can you do this song next time? And, I mean, they go back. Back to 1967. I'm like, what do you even know about that? But they want to hear those kind of things. So it's been great. On the show, when we did the show, we were young and crazy. So when Scotty was talking about him looking for his wife, I was just looking for a woman. Period. Period.
That's funny.
Did you find her? Did you find her?
No, like you said, your dad, boy, your dad like Lavelle. Okay, nigga, you the pretty one, but you ain't getting shit off of my show. Leave these women alone. I'm telling you. I said, dang, okay, Don, jeez.
But Lavelle, you said a word, humility, and that is something that all three of you have. That's been since I met you a long time ago, back in the day in the 90s, and BET. And everybody says the same thing about all three of you. You're always so approachable, you're so humble, and so talented. And that's a rare combination.
Well, you know what? We just like you. It's as simple as that. I remember, this is off the ship, but a lot of times I'll go into places and it amazes me. Somebody would say, man, I'm going into McDonald's. I say, man, what you doing in here? Well, I got to eat just like you. I'm just like you. I like McDonald's, fries. I like the coffee. I'm no different. But some people, they make you different. We're not. If you've noticed since we've been here this week, and it's been incredible, we've been all over the ship. I'm dancing, eating, doing whatever. Tonight I'm going to be doing it again. And I'm loving it. No different. Simple as that.
When it comes to the songs that you select in your performances, what does that entail? What makes you choose the particular songs based on the show that you're doing? And who comes up with that?
Yeah, who doesn't?
Well, no, unfortunately for us, he's no longer here. But the overall theme of what we've always been interested in terms of our music, Nick Caldwell, our choreographer, he always said to us guys, I want you to say to your lady what every guy would like to say to their lady. I want you to show them respect. I want you to be a gentleman. So when we go out, the overall theme of what we're trying to do is tell you, you listen to the songs. Most of them deal with love, romance. We're talking about respect. We're talking about cherishing our lady. Nick Caldwell, he couldn't emphasize this enough. That's why he wrote Lady and Say Yes and Are You Going My Way? All of that theme dealt with this lady, I want you to know I love you and I respect you. That's the basis of what our music has always been about.
And it is not wasted on any one of us. We love it. How about we take a little break and we'll be back with the Whispers on All Access Pass.
All right.
And we're back, All Access Pass with the Whispers. And I'm so happy that they're here today.
So am I. I'm always happy. I am happy when we play you on the radio. on WHUR, which we do all the time.
Yeah.
Every time your music comes on, every time you come to wherever I am in concert, I know I'm not the only one who loves the Whispers.
No, hey, thank you.
So Tony asked a question in the last break, or before the last break, who picks the songs? And I love the way you answer that. The writing, the mood is consistent through all the years. Has there ever been a time when, maybe some of the major record labels said, this is the music that's trending, maybe you should change, maybe you should do this. And then if they did, what was your pushback?
And then the third part of that is, are you continuing to write songs? I mean, you have so many songs that you've produced and written. These days, do you still write songs?
Well, Nick was the writer of our group. We don't write, but I think we've always liked to be attracted to the young writers that are coming up. Our hits came from writers when they weren't big. Leon Silvers was not known as Leon Silvers when he brought us And the Beat Goes On. LaFace, he was called Kenny Edmonds when he did In the Mood. And we've always kind of been attracted to those young writers who haven't really made their stick yet. And it's really helped us from the very beginning. But Nick was the first guy, the first hit that we had, which was Lady, that was a national hit that was written by Nicholas Caldwell. So we're very proud of him for that.
We should add that when you talk about producers, we always had a great deal of respect for producers.
Yeah.
Because what we learned is that what they brought was different than what we never had a problem handling the singing part. But the producer gives you the new idea. And for basically even now and back then, it was even worse. Most singers who sing well don't like to take direction from somebody who can't sing. We were just the opposite. Because it wasn't about how well he could sing. It was about the idea that he was bringing. I mean, when Leon Silvers first we did a song, it was called Hey Scotty, but it was really called Keep On Loving Me. And he was the kind of producer that he knew the results. He knew what was going to happen before we did. So when he would give us little segments of it, he said, now, Scotty, I want you, when we say, we're all going to say, hey, Scotty, what that mean? I said to him, well, no, I'm not doing that. But see, he knew. He knew what the end result was going to be. So, like I said, now we get back to the respect of the producer. I had to go. Had he not done that, that wouldn't have been a big song. That, hey, Scotty, what that mean? What I didn't want to do, that's why it was a hit.
Yeah.
And it comes from the producer, so it doesn't matter. We would rather deal with a producer that you never heard of because they tend to have the best songs, if you want to know the truth. It's the name guys who got all the big hits. By the time they get to us, they gone. Yes. So I'd rather deal with a producer that can bring me an idea that I didn't think of and tell me how to sing it. And I can sing it, but we both got two things that we can do. When you put them together, you're in there with a hit record.
Are there any producers that you want to work with that you haven't worked with yet?
There's a lot of them. They just don't want to work with us.
Oh, come on.
No, we're in this generation now is different. The young producers and writers, first of all, they produce and write their own stuff. They're really not, and it's not to be selfish. I mean, we've come to that point in the entertainment industry. That's how it is now. It's about business, They want to do their own thing, and I thoroughly understand that. We come from a generation where we would work with the producer. He had an idea. He would inject it into us. And what we do best is sing. And the combination of both made a tremendous hit. Doesn't work like that now. The producer today does everything.
Yeah,
you don't have to be able to sing.
That's
you
right.
can just talk. And they got a vocoder that you can sing into.
So
and when it comes out, you sound like you the best singer in the world.
But just don't see those singers live.
Yeah,
You will be
exactly.
disappointed.
The other side of that is that, when we were doing it, you could get, an all-in deal would be like $20,000 for a song, and that would be recorded, mastered, ready to go. Well, when when you have the baby faces or the R. Kellys and those kind of people, when they get now, it's $250,000, $300,000 for one song, so you're not in that competition when you're old school. So, and then plus the the record companies want somebody that's 15, 14, 18 years old, so they'll have about a 5-year, 6-year, maybe might 10-year shelf life, and then they're moving on to the next thing. I always call music today fast food. It's whatever's going on right now. Something comes along new, you're gone. There will never be any 40-year, 50 years, 60-year careers in music ever, because they're forgotten based on their last record. And that's just the way it is today.
Now, if there was a, and this is for all three of you guys, if there was a song that identifies with you out of your hits that you've had, one by one, what songs would that be? If there was one song that identified you that you can identify with personally, what song would that be?
Well, with me, the one that I most identify with is a song for Donnie. And the reason I'll tell you is a little short story. Donnie Hathaway, to me and Scotty, probably was the greatest R&B vocalist that I think that ever lived. And we got a bunch of them. I mean, but we had the opportunity to see him and be with him. In fact, back in the day, in those days, we'd play clubs and we'd start there on Thursday and close on a Sunday, so you'd work 4 nights doing 2 shows. And we came to Chicago. We got there early for that week, and Donnie was closing that Sunday night. And we got to hear Donnie Hathaway at the piano by himself. Never forget it.
Oh, my goodness.
As long as I live. This man with that little old apple cap went all over his head. You couldn't even kind of see his face. But when that voice came out of there, oh, man. I'll never forget that. And then we later went on. Dick Griffey's wife, Carrie Lucas, wrote the song, a song for Donnie, because she knew how much we were into Donnie Hathaway. And we went on to create a Donnie Hathaway Foundation and a scholarship and the whole bit. So for me, that's one of my favorite songs. And we got a lot of them that I like, but for me, that's it.
Well, let me. That's an answer to your question when you say which one that we can be related by, not the one we like the best, because that's 2 different answers in my opinion. But the one that we can be related by is really simple because it was the biggest that we ever had. It's called And the Beat Goes On. When And the Beat, as a matter of fact, when we recorded And the Beat Goes On, within a 4-week period, your father was very happy about this. It went gold, platinum, and double platinum. As a matter of fact, we were so scared. We said, "Are you sure that's us?" I mean, really, we were in we were working in Shreveport, Louisiana, and they stopped the show, Tony, and brought out these 4 gold albums, and we said, "Wait a minute, this is for us." This was And the Beat Goes On.
Goodness.
4 weeks later, that song was double platinum. So from a business standpoint, I mean, it's easy. That was the one. Now, from that point on, for the next 7 years, everything we did was either gold or platinum.
That's beautiful.
So, the man upstairs and that record, that was it.
And how about you, Lamel?
Well, for me, and it changes really from day to day. What Scotty said was one of my favorites and still is. But if you talk about what really has touched me, Tina Marie. Tina Marie wrote a song for us called Butter, and I met Tina Marie on a ship. Won't say which ship. They're not as good as yours. But the good thing that came out of it is I met my wife on that ship, and she was singing background for Tina Marie at that time. And during that period of courting my wife, my future wife at the time, courting her, I used to go back and forth to Tina's house. And Tina would always say, "I want to write a song for the Whispers." I said, "What anytime you want." And so going back and forth all the time, and one day Tina came and she says, "Lavelle, you always going from Anaheim to my house in Pasadena back and forth. Why are you doing that?" Tracy's staying with me. My wife is named Tracy. Says, "She's staying with me. Why don't you just stay here? I like a man around the house. So just come stay here." So I moved in with Tina and stayed with her for about 7 months. And then I said, "Okay, baby, it's time for you and I to move out of here and get our own crib." And what we wound up doing. But she said she was going to write a song before she left this planet, and Butter was one of the ones that she wrote for us. And we love it because she knew what a woman would want to hear. And as soon as we heard not only the melody, but the lyrics,
Oh man,
it was
incredible.
over.
Yeah.
I love it. That was a
Yeah.
great question, Tony.
I'm good.
You are so good. And we want to hear more of Tony's great questions. We're going to take a quick little break, and we'll be back with a whole lot more on All Access Pass. I like it.
And we're back with All Access Pass, the Whispers.
Yeah, the Whispers, telling us all kinds of great stories. You've been churning out #1 hits since the 60s.
Yeah.
And we were talking with Eddie Levert yesterday, and he was saying that, he's been doing this for so long, and he's already thinking about when he's going to hang up his microphone. I think he said 2020 will be his last year.
Is that what he said?
Yeah,
Is that right?
He sure did.
Wow.
And I'm wondering, is that something that you've thought about yet? Like, how long are you going to do this?
No,
Don't
ma'am.
go.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No.
You know what?
So
No.
tell us your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I tell you what I thought is that you really you know when it's time to hang it up. What I guarantee you that you won't see is us coming out on that stage and you leaving saying, boy, they tried, but man, you're not gonna say that about us. If you got to be honest with yourself. You know when it's time to go. And the man upstairs, in our case, we have been so fortunate because he's given us our chops is still here.
Yeah.
That's
Big
the
time.
key. Now when that leaves, now you can fool yourself if you want to, but you better be honest about it and say it's time to go. So as far as we're concerned, as long as we can sing, we're gonna be here.
Being on the ship and talking to people, it's funny how they've come up to me and they ask this one question to me all the time. I said, Lavelle, I feel so sorry for you back there dancing by yourself. Why don't you guys get another guy? I'm like, baby, that is not going to happen. When we win, when this group, another person passes, that'll be the end of the Whispers.
That's it.
That's it. We're never going to wind up bringing somebody in. It was 5 of us. We've always felt like, we're only as strong as our weakest link. So when those links are broken, when you can't make a chain out of it anymore, that's it for us.
Not only that, but who's going to replace Nick? There's only one Nick.
Yeah. There's no
We're not
question.
even trying to.
Or Marcus.
Or Marcus.
That's right.
That spot, that's their spot, and it's going to be their spot until it's time to stop spotting.
That is such a unique perspective because a lot of groups will go and find, a younger version and someone who sounds close to the original. But I
Right.
have so much respect for what
No.
you're saying and what you're doing.
Not gonna happen here. Mm-mm.
I mean, but you have to. I guess you have to admit it is a business.
It is a business.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
as you see groups that artists have gone on and moved on and decided to go solo, whatever the case, they bring in another guy. But you guys obviously feel very differently about that.
Yeah,
kind of
no, that's
Let me
not
ask you, how can you find, I don't know where they are on this planet, 2 twins that sound identical, have great voices, how do you find that? And it's never going to be the same. I got to find a guy that sounds like Walter and Scotty. And they got to, I don't know, when a person imitates your song, if it's not like that song, there's always something missing. So I don't think we could ever find some twins that could be as good as them.
It's kind of interesting. Even me,
Let me give him. I paid him. Here's your money, man.
yeah, when
That was
it's
pretty
very
good.
interesting.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, when I hear these guys sing, and I'm like, is that an extra track in there somewhere? These guys can really blow. I mean,
really blow.
And then when Scotty starts the jazz thing, I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Well, here's the thing that's funny to me. When you spoke a minute ago about like today's technology, that's the one thing I don't like about today's technology. I mean, we were working in Dallas, Texas, and I got a lot of relatives there, right? One of my own relatives walks up to me and says, they call me Debiel. Debiel, was that you singing? I said, what you mean? Was that me singing? Who did you see singing?
Right.
Didn't you just see me up here? Did you see my lips moving? But the reason why they said that, I later found out because, and I'm not trying to be funny, but this is the way they talk. It's just, Well, you know, they told me they got machine now that do that. What the fuck? Excuse me. So they were right. They got machines now that will, excuse my French, will replace your ass.
That's right.
When you see us, whatever you like, whether you like it or not, it's us.
Yeah.
You know, when you see that saxophone up there, that's a real sax. That's not recorded in the back. So we try to keep as much of the human element, because really what's happening with the human element is feel. Feel is everything. If it don't feel right, it don't matter no way. They ain't made a machine that can do real feel anyway. So that's why that's the part of today's thing. You can have it. You know, I want it to be human, I want it to be real, and we don't need that box he talked about that can straighten your note out. I can straighten my own note out.
Well, you know, Scotty, prove to me right now. Prove to me right now how human you are. I want you to prove to me how human you are.
I'll give you a good example. There's no machine that can create there I go, there I go. There I go.
Yeah.
Pretty baby you are. The soul that snaps my control.
Yeah.
Such a funny thing, but every time you're near me, I never can behave. You could be a smile and then I'm wrapped up in your magic. Do you know a machine that can do that?
Wow. I don't know of that machine. You know of that machine?
No, that's a good machine.
Can we give the whispers of an applause for that?
Oh,
Go ahead.
James Moody is smiling for
It was
heaven
okay.
right
Let
now.
him tell you. No, your dad is smiling because
Yes, he
that's
is.
live, boy.
Yes,
You gave me chills on that.
Oh,
I mean,
my
you really did give me
goodness
chills.
gracious.
But
Really
that
did,
song,
man.
the chills ain't for men on that one.
I got the chill.
It's not really, if you
I
listen
have
to the
all
lyrics,
the
ladies.
chill. You know what? But it's that connection, that rawness, that realness that keeps your audiences so happy and coming back. Every time you come to the DMV, I've seen you so many times at the Birchmere, and you
Oh,
sell it
yeah,
out
man.
every
We
time.
love it over there. We love it
my!
over there.
But it's it's that. It's their humility, their realness, their love for their audience, for their fans. It's the real deal, isn't it?
You're so right. You know what? And I just wish that the venues, it's all about money now. So you got to go to a concert and you almost got to take some binoculars. I love being, when you can go out and touch somebody and talk to them while you sing. Back in the day, oh man, I just love that. The intimacy of the clubs. Now, you can't have a club atmosphere because they don't make enough money to put people in the club. So as a result, you end up going to a concert and you sitting way back here. You can't, what Scotty just did, I know you felt, I felt it. You can feel that when
I
you're
really
up
felt that.
close.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is just unbelievable, Scotty. I mean, the fact that you can blow. I mean, you can still freaking blow, man.
I don't take it for granted, though. It's a
Are
blessing.
you doing? I mean, I remember we did something with Smokey. I mean, I had playing golf with Smokey, and Aretha did one of our shows, and she wanted us to turn off the air conditioning. We
Yeah.
had 3,000 people in the building. She said, "Turn the air conditioning
Yeah,
off."
yeah,
And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, that air sucks up the vocal
And
cords.
so I thought she was being, a little diva type.
Yeah.
And Aretha's, I love Aretha, by the way.
she's
And by the way, Aretha's not feeling that well. Just so you guys would know, she is
Yeah, I
she
heard
is
that.
struggling right now as we speak. But
Keep her in your
I
prayers,
talked to
right?
Smokey one day and said, "Wow, that was just amazing." And she said, "Tony, I would have asked you to turn the air conditioner off as well." And I'm like, "Wow!" And he went on to explain that it's important to keep the throat warm.
Absolutely.
And I'm
Yeah.
curious, do you guys work
Very
on
much so.
things of that nature as
Yeah.
well?
That's why I don't know
some
how.
do and some don't, to be honest with you. I mean, some people, it affects them, and other ones, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
You know?
and you got singers. Phil Perry, the singer, he can smoke a cigarette and blow the smoke out and be on perfect. I mean,
He's
he is the
amazing.
singerest
He's a monster,
brother
yeah.
that I have ever heard. I'm telling you. Yeah, it doesn't bother him in the least.
But do you guys do anything special to protect and help your voice?
I keep. It's very simple. I don't know lemons and tea. I keep my throat wrapped, and I rest a lot.
That's important.
That's the key. That's it. Nothing else. Yeah.
It's pretty same
The other side, they won't tell you this. This is the truth. None of them ever smoke.
No drinking, no smoking.
Never drank. So, you preserve your instrument when you don't wind up contaminated with stuff like that. So that's the reason why they sound today like they do, because not only did they wrap their throat like Scotty, I've seen Scotty wake up out of a cold, come out of sleep, because, when you do an unnamed person, I can't say what show it is, but anyway, you got 3 segments, and it starts at 4 o'clock in the morning. You got to be there, and you're singing at 5:45 or 5:30 in the morning. I've seen him do that, seen Walter do that hundreds of times. The only way you can do that is that they have not really, tore up their throat with alcohol, drugs. We've never dabbled in that area, so I think that's the longevity of their voice as well.
Yeah, you don't have to do a whole lot of fancy things. Just take care of yourself. We had Jeffrey Osborne here the other day, and he talks about taking care of his body, taking care of his instrument.
Yeah.
We could talk to you all day. This is wonderful, right?
And we could look at you all.
I love you.
Wow.
So sweet.
There I go. There I go.
They got your
I'm
back.
sorry, Scott. I just sound like this.
And on that note, how about we wrap this up? This has been so much fun.
absolutely.
Can't wait to hear you the next time you're singing. Thank you for coming back to the Soul Train Cruise again and again and again. Tony, you've got anything you want to say before we
I want to
close this
say
out?
1, 2, 3, the whispers. How about that?
How about
Get
that?
down.
Everybody?
Everybody.
Let's
Thank
do
you
it.
guys for coming too. We appreciate that.
Thank you for supporting us.
1, 2, 3,
The Whispers on All Access Pass.
Thank you guys.